and Math Buhay. This is Teacher Dang, and I'm here to help you more about Mathematics 9. Our most essential learning competency is prove the Pythagorean Theorem. But before we proceed, make sure that you have a copy of a self-learning module, you have a pen, a piece of paper, and also find a comfortable place. Our objectives: show the relation between the legs and the hypotenuse of a right triangle. State the Pythagorean theorem. Find the length of the sides of a right triangle. Let us have a quick review. What is a right triangle? It is a triangle with right angle. The hypotenuse is the side opposite the right angle. Other side are referred to as the legs. In the given figure, if this is the right angle, the side opposite to that right angle, which is this one, is what we call the hypotenuse. And the remaining two sides are called legs. What is Pythagorean theorem? Pythagorean theorem is named after a Greek mathematician, which is Pythagoras. States that in a right triangle, the square of the lengths of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the lengths of the legs. At the given figure. Pwede rin siyang gamitin using this one. Kung ang side CB natin ay may 3 units, the area of this square is 9. If this one, you have line segment AB, the measurement of this side of this leg is 4 units, and the area of this square is 16. Remember the formula in finding the area of a square. So you have S times S, or you have S to the second power. How about the longest side? If this is the right angle, therefore this is your hypotenuse. Look at the relationship of this square with this square and the big one. The measurement of the hypotenuse in this case, so you have 5 units. And we're going to find the area of this square. This is 25 square units. As you can see, you have the square of this square. And this one, if you add, you have 25. Aside from that, we can also use the two-column form. Suppose we have a given triangle ABC is a right triangle with angle C as the right angle. So look at the given figure. Let us prove that C square is equal to A square plus B square. Using the two-column form, of course, you have the statements and you have the reason. Again, necessary concepts and principles in mathematics ay kailangan nating gamitin. In this case, our first statement, you have triangle ABC is a right triangle with angle C as the right angle. So that is our given. Draw the altitude CD. So you have the altitude CD. At each vertex, there is only one altitude. A square, so this one. So the square of this side is equal to, you have BD, this one, times C. In the altitude, the hypotenuse of a right triangle is drawn. The length of either leg is the geometric mean of the lengths of the hypotenuse and the segment which the hypotenuse was separated that is adjacent to the leg. And if you're going to find the measurement of this leg, you have B square, so you have AD times C. The reason is the same as number 3. In number 5, if you're going to add the square of A square and you have B square, you have BD times C plus, you have, remember, B square is AD times C. So you have APE, or addition property of equality. For the sixth statement, we can say that a squared plus b squared is equal to c. So since we have a common c, then you have bb plus ad. So you have distributive property. C, remember C is equal to AB. So si AB at si C ay pareho lang ng haba. And AB is the same as BB plus AD. So AD plus BB is the same as C at pareho lang siya ng A to B. So that is the definition of betweenness. Therefore, you have A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. And that is the substitution principle. Okay, now let us apply the Pythagorean theorem. Find the measure of the hypotenuse or the longest side given the measures of the legs of a right triangle. Remember, if you have hypotenuse, you're going to use the formula c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. So you have 3 and 4. And you're going to find the measurement of the hypotenuse or the longest side. In this case, so you have the solution, you have the formula. You have c to the second power is equal to a squared plus b squared. C squared, substitute the first leg, so you have 3 to the second power. Plus, you have b, which is 4 to the second. You have c squared is equal to 9. 3 times 3 is 9. And 4 times 4 is 16. 9 plus 16, so you have 25. Get the square root of both sides. So you have c squared, you have the square root of c squared is equal to the square root of 25. So you have c, the square root of 25 is 5. So our hypotenuse is 5. How about find the measure of the hypotenuse, so you have the longest side, given the measures of the legs of a right triangle. So same, you have to find the hypotenuse, given ang measures ng legs ng ating triangle. So you have 5 and 12. So the measurement of the legs, so you have 5 and 12. Gaano kaya kahaba ang ating hypotenuse? So you have the solution. Still, you have the formula. You have c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. Substitute the legs. You have 5 and you have 12. So you have 5 squared, you have 25. 12 times 12 is 144. 25 plus 144, you have 169. Get the square root of both sides. So you have the square root of c squared is equal to the square root of 169. So para mawala yung ating exponent na 2. The square root of 169 is 13. So our hypotenuse or the longest side is 13. The next example is calculate the length of the other leg given the measure of the hypotenuse and one of the legs. Okay, this time, ang given natin ay hypotenuse at leg, at isang leg. Kukunin natin yung measurement nung isa pang leg. So kung ang hypotenuse natin, of course, and 5 and 3, ang hypotenuse natin ay 5 since this is the largest one. So you have 3 measurement ng isang leg. Remember, you have the formula. You have c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. But this time, hindi hypotenuse ang hinahanap natin, kundi isa sa mga leg. So you can use c squared minus, so you have the lipat bahay. You have a squared is equal to b squared. Or this one is the same as you have b squared is equal to b squared minus a squared. So substitute. Our hypotenuse mostly represented by c. So you have 5 squared minus 3 squared. So you have b squared is equal to 5 times 5 is 25. And 3 times 3 you have 9. B squared, what is 25 minus 9? That is 16. Get the square root of both sides. Square root of b squared is b. And the square root of 16 is 4. So the measurement of the other leg is 4. Another example, let us calculate the length of the other side or other leg given the measure of the hypotenuse and one leg. So again, given ang hypotenuse natin at yung one leg. In this case, you have 10 and 8. Of course, 10 is our hypotenuse and the other leg has a measure of 8. You have still the formula. You have c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. So you can use c squared minus a squared is equal to b squared. Pwede rin si a squared ang gamitin natin. Or this one is the same as b squared is equal to c squared minus a squared. Now, let us substitute. C, our hypotenuse, so we have 10 minus the other leg, you have 8. So you have b squared, 10 to the second, you have 100, 10 times 10, minus 8 times 8, you have 64. b to the second is equal to 36. Get the square root of both sides. So you have the square root of b squared is b, and the square root of 36 is 6. Okay, it's your turn. So calculate the length of the other leg given the measures of the hypotenuse and one of the legs. Now the given is 13, the hypotenuse, and 12 for the other leg. Ano kaya ang sukat ng isang nawawalang leg? So you can use your pen and your paper in solving or in finding the length of the other leg. Okay, stop. Let us find what will be the measure of the other leg. You have the solution. You have c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. So you have c squared minus a squared is equal to b squared. Or you have b squared is equal to, pareho lang sila, you have c squared minus a squared. So you have the hypotenuse, that is 13. And you have the other leg, which is 12. So 13 to the second power minus 12 squared. So you have b squared is equal to 13 times 13 is 169. And 12 times 12 is 144. b squared is equal to 169 minus 144 is 25. Get the square root of both sides. So you have b to the second power is equal to the square root of 25. So b is equal to 5. Okay, how about the next? Find a measure of the hypotenuse given the measures of the legs of a right triangle. So this time, find the hypotenuse. So given ang two legs, yung longest side ang ating hahanapin. So you have 6 and 8. Okay, pause for a while. So solve using your pen and a piece of paper. What will be the hypotenuse? Let's see if your answer is correct. You have the solution. So you have c to the second is equal to a squared plus b squared. So you have the legs. You have 6 and 8. So 6 times 6 is 36. And you have 8 times 8 is 64. So 36 plus 64 is 100. Get the square root of both sides. You have the square root of 60 squared is equal to the square root of 100. Okay, correct. You have c is equal to 10. That's all for this topic. Thank you for watching, and always remember, practice, practice, and more practice. Once again, this is Teacher Dan. Happy learning. Goodbye.